All right, y'all. In my shop today, doing a little bit of broadhead sharpening. These Simmons heads kind of get a bad rap for being hard to sharpen, and I guess they kind of are one of the more difficult type heads to sharpen because of the shape of them. They've got this curve and profile, or concave or convex, whatever profile Simmons calls it. These are some good heads. I really like them. I know a lot of other people who really like them, get good blood trails with them. And I've kind of figured out a way that's pretty easy to sharpen these things with, so I thought I'd share it to you. And the way that I figured out, I say figured out how to do it, it's just kind of how I've always sharpened my knives. But a lot of my knives that I make have this weird shape to them. I call it a recurve in a knife blade. And so you got to figure out a way to get in that little curve and get it sharp. It can kind of be difficult to do on a stone if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. And if you don't have the tools that I have, it's okay. There's a couple other ways I can think of how to do it with good results. One being a hand file. Just I have one laying around. Yeah, I do. Just a round hand file. That'll get in there. I know one of my other buddies has been using a sharpening guide system. I don't know what exactly it's called. It might be like one from Work Sharp or something like that, and that works. Main thing is whenever you get your burr on the edge, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second, you have to have a way to refine that burr. I go ahead and take it to a mirror polish. Excuse me. I think that mirror polish might help a little bit in penetration and slicing. I don't know that for sure, but I think it helps. So that's what I do. But if you just have a leather strop, that works too. So anyway, I'm gonna show y'all how I do it. Okay, so this is my 2x72 belt grinder. This is what most knife makers use for doing machine work on their knives. This of course is a flat platen, and this is the slack section in the belt. And what I mean by slack is there's no backing, like there's no hard backing underneath it, so it's got this give to it. And whenever I'm sharpening knife blades like this one, if I had this ground and heat treated and I was putting an edge on it, this is what I would use to get up in that curve. I would use this little 1-inch belt to do that with. And so basically I'm doing the same thing with these Simmons Broadheads. This slack section of the belt, being that it's only 1 inch wide, is perfect for getting in this weird shape on the edge. And that weird shape is what makes these Simmons Broadheads so effective in cutting a big hole and leaving a good blood trail. So I'm going to turn this machine on and show y'all what I'm talking about. So that's a quick demonstration of the process on the belt grinder. And all I'm doing, you can see that is the edge that hasn't been touched yet. That's the edge that I just touched. And you see how much finer the sanding marks are on that versus over here. Same thing there. That one's got a little rust and blood on it from when he shot a deer, I'm sure. And then that one's already starting to get really polished up. I'm looking for two things, and it's hard to pick up the first one on camera, but on the very tippy end, tippy top of the edge, whatever, you'll start to see this shiny little burr. That's what we call it in the knife world. I don't know what else to call it, but it's just like this tiny, tiny little string of an edge form on the very end of the edge. And when you see that, you know that you're starting to get ready to strop it or polish it. But then the other thing that I'm looking for, this is a worn out, I think, 320 grit. So I'm really wanting to get this edge polished as fine as I can get it, so that whenever I go over to the buffing wheel, I'm able to get it pretty well to a mirror polish. And like I said, I think that mirror polish just kind of helps in making this broadhead go through critters a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this on the grinder, and then we'll go to the buffing wheel. Okay, so what we've done so far is we have gotten the secondary edge, secondary bevel, to a worn out 320 grit finish. And you can probably kind of see the real shiny end of the edge. That's that burr I'm talking about. That's what you want to look for. So when you get to that point, you're ready to start polishing the edge, and you can do that in a couple different ways. You can get you a leather strop, just any old piece of leather, a old leather belt will work. Get you some sort of a polishing compound. This is what I keep in my shop. Mother's mag and aluminum polish. It's, I think, meant for polishing wheels or something like that. I don't know. It's down the automotive section in Walmart. Get you some of that, work it into the leather, and then strop the edge. So go in reverse. If you were on a stone, you would go with the edge. When you're stropping, you'll go against the edge. You can do it like that. Or if you have a handheld drill, it's quicker to just polish it with this little 4-inch buffing wheel that just runs right in your handheld drill. Whichever way the wheel is turning, you're going to want to hold your edge opposite. So if the wheel is coming this way, you would not want to hold the edge going with, or against that, I should say. You would want to hold the edge going with it, if that makes any sense. And I'm filming all this on my phone. I don't have a chest-mounted GoPro or anything, so it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to film this part, so that's why I'm explaining it. But you're just going to do that until you get this edge to a mirror polish, and you get that burr nice and polished up. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, y'all. We got it sharpened and polished. You see a little bit of black gunk on there. That's from the polishing compound. So I'll just take a Q-tip or a cotton swab, and with a little bit of WD-40 or something, that'll come right off. And then you're left with a real shiny mirror polish. I think that just makes them cut better. One last tip for you. You need to keep these heads greased with something. They're 1095 high carbon steel, and anybody who knows keeping high carbon steel, it will rust if not kept protected by some sort of grease or oil. I would shy away from using oil. I feel like that'll rub off. But grease or wax is really going to help you out on that. I just use some petroleum jelly because it's in my shop for doing knife handles. But if you have some sort of knife wax or beeswax or something like that, that works just fine too. But you definitely want to keep them oiled or waxed when they're in your quiver, or they'll rust on you, and then you'll have to sharpen them all over again. So anyway, I hope this video helps some people out on sharpening these things. I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking, well, I don't want to go spend $1,000, $2,000 on a grinder. Again, you ain't got to have one. You can do that first step with a file. You can do it with a sharpening stone. I think the main thing that I wanted to get across in this video was really polish that edge. I think if you do that, you're going to really have some better results with these heads as far as blood trailing and penetration goes. And you keep them oiled, I don't think y'all have any problems with them. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.